X-Force Armageddon Now Epic Collection. This gets into an era which is close to the year 2000, 98 to 2000. X-Force 85 through 100 in Annual 99, and then X-Force / Champions Annual 98 as they did a crossover. And this is a rough spot if you're going to start X-Force. I did read the volume before, so I kind of knew where it was going back then, which was the Zero Tolerance operation. But we're at a point where like the original X-Force is not part of the team anymore. You got like Cannonball, you've got some Siren, Moonstar, Dawnstar. I mean, there's a lot of stars. And at the beginning of it, these characters, it's a little cartoonier of a thing, and there's so much bogged down dialogue in this stuff. So it's a really slow paced sort of deal where you're kind of learning who these people are at the same time. This is the Champions crossover where they end up trying to find a Titan as they're fighting, and they get together and they do so. But basically, like, there's this like thing in New Mexico, and the government had some sort of secret thing where they were like breeding mutants in order to try to get different powers out of them and things like that. And then that kind of goes by the wayside as like some stuff happens through here where they go into different deals. This guy who is, it's hard for to remember these characters in their names. It's written by John Francis Moore. And like I said, the dialogue's quite a bit. He eventually gets deported to Brazil as an illegal alien, which is an interesting storyline through this thing. And that's the most interesting character storyline as it goes through here. Domino is in and out of the book, one of the original X-Force folk who just shows up sometimes through this. And there's these new Hellions who show up. One of the kids, his older brother, is in charge of them. And they're joining the Hellfire Club, and they're trying to convince him to join as well, and trying to convince you see all the talking scenes. It's just like way too much through over the course of this. And it's just like everything's just a clustery mess. And then like there's continuity between the stories, like to some degree, but like they'll show up like halfway across the planet in the next issue. And it's like, wait, how did they get there? Like, I didn't even know they were going there. And like a lot of the stories start in ways that are, you know, they're already on their way there, like without explaining anything from the prior issue. And it's like, what's happening here? Now, one of the annuals does have a Shatterstar sort of deal where it just covers him, and Fabian Nicieza writes it. And that's actually the best part of this. That's the annual 99 through here. And that Shatterstar storyline, he's hunting down some people who are like getting powers. Now they're like, you see Cable in here. It's like not actually Cable. Like there's a lot of like scenes where like they're in like the head of people through here. This one's like there's a temple set up, and here we are. The Cannonball, Meltdown, Moonstar, Jesse, Bedlam and Proud Star. There's X-Force, and like I didn't really know who a lot of these characters were going in. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them come from the New Mutants and all that. And this sort of echoed the Demon Bear saga, which I did not read. I've not read the New Mutants yet, and maybe I needed to in order to understand this. But that makes it really difficult because it's just a reference of things that have come before in those other X books rather than something recent that you can kind of like latch onto here. And Dawnstar gets these like superpowers out of it that are pretty crazy. They just go to Genosha in the next, like I said, it just jumps around quite a bit. And they're trying to steal like a satellite from Magneto in this one. And they end up confronting with Magneto. And here's the Shatterstar and Richter one that I said actually was like the only one that was like, oh, this is reminiscent of old X-Force. And it really was. And so this is really hard to read. It's really convoluted. The art is like a little too cartoony for like X-Force. X-Force should be like a hard-hitting sort of deal with like a lot of grit teeth and stuff like that. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Rob Liefeld out of it, not gonna lie. And it just like really didn't deliver that. Like it seemed like the art style was trying to capture more of like the Gen 13 or a Generation X vibe than like the X-Force vibe, which really felt weird in this book. And with all the dialogue, you saw just like the walls of text across this entire thing made this pretty hard to get through. So tough stuff, tough era for X-Force. I rate this a 5 out of 10 overall. Didn't really enjoy it, and it was a slog for me. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.